I titled today's mind map, Life is Truly Magical. So I rarely, if not ever these days, do I think about what to discuss in these videos, as I believe in the importance of allowing things to show up as they always do. Allowing the unseen power of the subconscious mind to take care of every last detail for me. For example, in Tuesday's video, we discussed the Holy Guardian Angel. We also discussed how you already are in heaven. And so I thought, what if I revisited Thought Vibrations by William Walker Atkinson? And then Ralph Waldo Trine popped up in mind. And so I thought of one of his books, In Tune with the Infinite. And so I did a search for the book, and from doing that, what caught my attention was another book of his, one I never saw before, titled The Higher Powers of Mind and Spirit, originally published in 1918. So when I started reading it, I saw the magical synchronicity with Tuesday's video right in the beginning, which in the foreword he states, "We are all dwellers in two kingdoms. The inner kingdom, the kingdom of the mind and spirit, and the outer kingdom, that of the body and the physical universe about us. In the former, the kingdom of the unseen, lie the silent, subtle forces that are continually determining and with exact precision the conditions of the latter." So yes, we still are in the Garden of Eden. As Neville Goddard also said, the garden is the mind. And now Adam and Eve represent the conscious and subconscious aspects of the one mind, which the unseen power pushes out the contents of the subconscious aspect of the one mind that have been planted consciously and externalizes it for you as the outer expressions of life. As he says here, the kingdom of the unseen. He says, instinctively, we perceive that there are within us powers and forces that we are making but inadequate use of, and others that we are scarcely using at all. Practical metaphysics, a more simplified and concrete psychology, well-known laws of mental and spiritual science, confirm us in this conclusion. So the mind has powers, many that have not been understood yet, infinite powers actually, and we already use them whether we are aware of them or not. Now there's truly no separation in consciousness. The conscious and subconscious are aspects of the one mind. That's why when we suggest to ourselves the way it is, reality appears that way. I notice this, and I trust you have also. Physical items. I turn around and it wasn't there. And then I imagine it's there. And then I turn around again and it's there. Now the logical aspect of mind might suggest, oh no, that wasn't magic. That was only an illusion. And that there's a logical explanation for it. And that's true from a logical perspective if you want to see it that way. And this coming from someone who has a very logical technology and business building background. Nowadays, however, I don't let certain beliefs of the past limit me. Although I may still refer to them as applicable, I find that's what facilitates the magic. Going beyond certain past beliefs to allow unseen spirit to cause everything to happen in an ideal way, which we could say is beyond reason, and more accurately put, of a higher reason. You see, beliefs are like clothes or magic wands, if you'd like to see them that way. They are applied as applicable to achieve a desired effect and then placed back into the closet or mental toolbox for a later occasion if applicable. It is then thus unnecessary belief identification that bogs down the subconscious aspect of mind, which throttles the power from expressing in an effortless, flow-based, magical, or we could say instant way. Another one of my examples of this occurrence is in conversations. People showing up and saying the same thing I'm imagining at the same time. We can refer to this as real-time telepathy or thought transmission. And we all have this ability. I trust you have experienced it as well. And you can do it more often if you'd like by bringing awareness to and releasing identification to the restrictive subconscious beliefs in mind that unnecessarily bog down the magical power of your subconscious mind. So then the logical question might be, who imagined it first? Was it me? Was it them? Actually, it was both at the same time. Also, it appears that way from what they say to me when I ask them about it. For all is truly one, and there is no real separation in consciousness. Although it might not appear that way due to specific beliefs identified with in mind. And mind is thus not the enemy, as in its essence it is pure. And you choose your magic wand or combination of magic wands to wave. The unseen power takes them and externalizes them for you into form as the objects that appear on the screen of space. I mean, look at this, for example, how magical life is. You may be halfway across the world and are now experiencing this transmission through seemingly visible means that are facilitated by our subtle mind power of generating thought vibrations. For the student and teacher are one. We are both the student and teacher to each other. And equally fascinating is what brought us together, the intuition to experience the same information, although we may experience it differently, in the exact place, all animated by the same unseen power of the subconscious mind in the spirit of harmony with all, without lifting a finger. Sure, it may seem we lifted a finger to bring us to this point of the conversation, as logically we may enjoy connecting the dots looking backwards. Nothing wrong with that. Yet all of this happens automatically by spirit, which may through reason and beyond current reason and technology express itself. So upon connecting the dots looking backwards, this seems to bring us to this point. Spirit being the true cause that animates all, as he says here. Through the body and its avenues of sense, we are intimately related to the physical universe about us. Through the soul and spirit, we are related to the infinite power that is the animating, the sustaining force, the life force of all objective material forms. It is through the medium of the mind that we are able consciously to relate the two. Through it, we are able to realize the laws that underlie the workings of the spirit, and to open ourselves, that they may become the dominating forces of our lives. So we have infinite powers, and we may already use, for example, as he says here, which upon connecting the dots looking backwards, I know why I thought of William Walker Atkinson first, as Ralph Waldo Trine says the same thing here. He says, we may find, as I'm inclined to think we shall find, that thought is a form of vibration. When the thought is born in the brain, it goes out just as a sound wave goes out and transmits itself through the ether, making its impressions upon the minds that are in a sufficiently sensitive state to receive it. So we are all interconnected. And although one may have been identified with certain beliefs that appeared as thoughts of separation in mind, a more accurate belief is we are all individualized expressions of the one mind, and thus all related and interconnected. As to believe otherwise is to negate our true essence, which is love, and by thus not acknowledge that we are here to relate lovingly. And by this I mean experience love in different ways, as that is the true, universal, spiritual desire. As Neville Goddard said, the spiritual self speaks to the natural self through the language of desire. And remember, consciousness is one. So what do you love? It's already yours. For to desire a state is to have it. To desire a state is to have it. To desire a state is to have it. From which all related things are magically added unto you. He says, thoughts of goodwill, sympathy, magnanimity, good cheer, in brief, all thoughts emanating from a spirit of love are felt in their positive, warming, and stimulating influences by others. They inspire, in turn, the same type of thoughts and feelings in them. And they come back to us, laden with their ennobling, stimulating, pleasure-bringing influences. So this explains why people so easily and readily show up to you saying the same thing, which is, I love you, although said in many different ways. This also relates to personal magnetism, another William Walker Atkinson conversation I'd like to revisit again. Ralph Waldo Trine says, we have heard much of personal magnetism. Careful analysis will, I think, reveal the fact that the one who has to any marked degree the element of personal magnetism is one of the large-hearted, magnanimous, cheer-bringing, unself-centered types whose positive thought forces are being continually felt by others and are continually inspiring and calling forth from others these same splendid attributes. Now, this is very powerful. Simply imagine how much this benefits relationships, be it personal, business, or whatever you choose, from which everything happens automatically. Giving and receiving are one. There's no confusion between the two. It happens naturally, automatically, and ideally with love. All we do is, and it's very powerful, I've been doing it for years and sharing it with others, a simple idea, very easy, simply suggesting to yourself, I am love, or I am already love. You know within your subconscious what you are referring to. And the unseen will take that suggestion and externalize it for you in many shapes and forms as pleasant surprises related to love. You see, two things happen at the same time when you do this. And you can do this anywhere you are. Number one, you further encourage your true way of being. And number two, you release automatically all that is not true with how you truly desire to be. It happens automatically, as we discussed in the recent spiritual alchemy process video. I'll link in the description to it. Any resistance experienced along the way, if experienced, is actually your friend. You fall in love with the resistance and enjoy a flow-based journey to the realization of all that implies love. Now, this does not imply that you should stop doing what you already enjoy doing to facilitate the transformations. As I always say, do what you love. And thus, anything you do to facilitate transformation is sacred for you. For as you believe, so does it facilitate transformation. Simply put, have fun, enjoy your life, and do what you love. Thus, I encourage magical ways of transformation, artful and poetic. Yet if one truly wants a bland approach, that's up to them as well. Transformation can be fun. Suffering in regards to transformation is caused by beliefs. Another benefit is playfulness, dance, symbolism, art, music, ritual, and prayer actually places the conscious mind at ease and thus allows the subconscious to accept the suggestion easily. The visual I get is, you may have seen the art of the Shiva Shakti dance. So allow yourself to be creative in how you accept your own suggestions. For example, my Holy Guardian Angel video from Tuesday. So let's explore another quote here, and perhaps in the future we can reflect more inspiration from this book. See, that's the thing about this information. I wouldn't advise being too literal with the reading. Rather, also allow your intuition to play with the information to form your own conclusions. Simply put, listen to yourself and trust yourself, you already know the best way to be how you truly desire to be. He says, there is within us that is illumined and energized through the touch of our spirit. We can bring our minds into rapport, into such harmony and connection with the infinite divine mind that it speaks in us, directs us, and therefore acts through us as our own selves. Through this connection, we become illumined by divine wisdom, and we become energized by divine power. So we can refer to this as true being, which is your natural way of being, which I believe is a magical way of being. This causes the mind to become nimble again, free from unnecessary control, as you'll notice the magic that occurs all around you in interesting ways. So I trust you found this video to be helpful. Let's go ahead and conclude this with an auto suggestion to further encourage. You could say, I allow the unknown ways of my subconscious mind, the powers inherently existent within mine, to be enabled freely, from which the unseen power flows freely. As the mind is free to soar like it was divinely designed to be, all that is love and true of how I am ideally happens automatically as the miracles all around me, as far as my senses perceive. If you would like a copy of this mind map, the link is in the description. Thank you very much for watching. I'll talk with you soon. Take care.